Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Rules may apply. Welcome. Super quick. Rules may apply is like, everybody always wants to know what we're going to talk about. Honestly, it's everything that like you think of after you just said what you just said. The asterisk, if you know that rules may apply, you know, there's a whole lot of fine print that kind of undoes everything up there. And you're like, oh, well, yeah, all this too.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I think in general. I usually speak very declaratively. Is this, or is this, or is not this, or is not this. But if you ask me to go into it, I have 7 million things I could give you that are nuanced, and the reason like I chose in this direction. And so I feel like this is all the things that we talk about where the trifecta of going out in New York City. What does that mean? What is the breakdown of like what this day entails? And those are the rules of like, yeah, weekends are fun. Sundays don't matter unless the little asterisk on here. It's fucking cold. It's raining. That is been a holiday weekend. Then it makes it a little different. So that's what this is about. And whatever we talk about, we talk about. And you're Layla. Introduce himself.
I'm Layla.
Layla. This is fucking great. We work together. We don't have to say where. And I think you're here because you were nervous to be here. I asked you and you were like, you first said no. And then you were like, literally immediately, we're like, you know what? If I don't want to do something, then I'm actually going to lean into it instead. I'll do it. And you just said yes. And that's kind of insane to me because if I've made up my mind, I don't want to do something, I genuinely I've thought about it and I don't want to do it. And you thought about it and you didn't want to do it. And then you were like, actually, no, wait, that means I'm definitely going to do it.
Right. Well, there are things that I don't want to do because I'm scared and that I will not accept for myself.
Okay. And this was a fear?
Yeah, because I'm, it probably doesn't seem like it, but in my core sense, I'm a shy person.
Okay.
And so I have been fighting that my whole life.
Okay.
And I have taken lots of like public speaking courses and stuff like that.
Shy, introverted, both, not introverted?
I think I'm a combo. And I don't know. I go back and forth as I feel like I really do like being around people, but it drains me. And so I wonder if that's
introvert.
Introvert.
Yeah.
So I think at my core, I am an introvert and I'm shy, but I fight against it because I feel like I'm ambitious and to get
it's the opposite.
I'm 70.
Excuse me.
She's like, hi, talk
yeah,
to
there's a dog. There's a dog and a cat fight. Absolutely not. And you too. I do think in our particular job, this is the first time I've worked in a company where someone does something similar to what I do inside. But we are not the same lane. Layla basically is hospitality to the max for the client side of things. So marketing, but hosts those parties, hires that venue, arranges that food, puts together that swag, everything for the outside, the client, the sales team.
Yeah, I feel like
I do all that inside.
Well, and I feel like really the only difference between what you and I do, well, and there are many talents I do have that I know,
and vice versa,
but is the branding aspect.
Yes.
A lot goes into concept and branding and producing all of that stuff. And that's a way bigger part of the venue and
agree
after almost. So I think that's the biggest difference.
Agree. And things that I wouldn't even begin, client lists, reaching out. Who do we keep track of?
Yeah,
tying everything back to budgets. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Those are things that I don't understand.
Yeah.
But you and I, which on the surface,
none of us do. We're trying.
Exactly. And I'm just real open. No business for me. And I on the inside.
Right.
Everyone on the inside. That's who my population, those are my clients. All 120 people for the venue and the food. And what's the idea? What's the feedback? Like, what's the sustainable program? What can I afford to do ongoing if they like it? How do I pivot if they hate it? Just a different set of clients for both of us. I think our jobs require we be outgoing. I am outgoing, but I'm not extroverted. And I think it took me a long time to realize that I'm not shy. I'm just introverted because I'm far from shy. I'm pretty bold, actually. And I don't really know why. I don't come by that. I don't know why I'm bold. But I think that for you are so good at being in charge and taking command, which you have to be to do what you do, that takes a phenomenal amount of energy, and everyone confuses it for outgoing leader. Being shy would never cross anyone's mind. Being a shy leader aren't two things that go hand in hand. You are a leader. And to say you're shy, I guess I could sort of see that.
Well, it's like when you say, oh, I can't imagine that you even feel that way. Where does that come from? And I'm like, well, because underneath this scaffolding I've built around myself and thick skin after I hate to say it, but 15, 18, 20 years of working, right?
Yeah.
I realized well, if I want to get anywhere, if I want to do the types of jobs I have to do, I have to come out of the shell. I have to be able to sell. I have to be able to do proposals. I have to be able to speak to venues and exude confidence.
Yeah.
I have to make people feel like I got it. You know,
I was asking shit for whether no, you aren't going to take no for an answer.
Right. Whether I like it or not. So that took and is an ongoing journey, but at least a decade to get to a place where I feel confident that I even have something valuable to say.
Yeah.
And
do you have impostor syndrome?
Oh, for sure. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore. And I think,
that's really great, because I feel like people have imposter syndrome almost can't be reasoned with. They can't get to a point where they feel like they've developed out of it.
Right.
And I do think it just feels so, just from the outside objectively, imposter syndrome feels so unbelievably counterproductive. And so how are you going to hold on to that for decades? You're going to have to, eventually you're good enough now, right?
Yeah.
You've got to get yourself out of that.
Well, I think that I've dissipated with, because I realized that, for example, one of my big life dreams is to own my own hotel.
Okay.
A luxury boutique hotel and some seaside.
Not wait until the top floor for you.
I want to live there.
Yeah.
I want to I was at this hotel in a beach, in a little village, maybe 2 hours from Phuket in Thailand.
Okay.
And it was this new property that opened. It seemed to be my group of friends and nothing but Korean honeymooners at this resort. And we had this whole 3-story villa, our own plunge pool. And the first time that I'd ever done something like that with just friends, where we paid for it. So we were feeling, this was for my 30th birthday. We were feeling amazing.
Charge it to the room. Charge it to the room. Absolutely.
And I remember we went to go eat at the resort, in the little outside dining area. And there's this guy in a wrinkled button down, reading a newspaper, physical newspaper, and smoking a cigar or something. And someone said, "That's the owner." And I looked over at that guy and I was like, I want to be him. I'm right there.
Is he single?
Yeah, I was like, I want to be that guy. That's the end game for me. So ever since then, I have had that sort of dream. And when I was little, I would draw pictures of a spa and design. I was going to own Nefertiti's day spa.
Oh, chic. Okay, go.
So my mom was like, where's the spa at? I always had a mom who was like, anything's possible, anything you want to do.
Well, honestly, to full
and so I was like,
you saying no. When you said no, and I was like, where the fuck does that come from? We talked about this the other day.
Yeah.
And I was like, where the fuck does that come from? And you were like, well, I had a mom who would have made me do it anyway. And I was like, well, your mom's a psychiatrist. And I was like, is that some therapeutic thing where it's throw them in feet first and just make sure they can swim? And I don't know. It's kind of to me like the Eastern Europeans making their babies sleep out in the cold to buck them up.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with that 80s parenting of figure it out. But also I never knew what to lean into. As you're talking about this hotel situation, I never really knew until now as an adult where I would put all of my energy if I had to create the job for myself. Mm-hmm. I love doing the job I have, which is basically producing other people's shit. Mm-hmm. Because I don't need a horse in the race where I'm producing my own shit. That to me seems a little too high stakes and entangled in a way that I'm like, if I'm doing everybody else's stuff, once I'm not there anymore, I don't have to deal with it because it's not my stuff, not my circus, not my monkeys or monkeys and circus, whatever. That said, when you say hotel, I don't have that version of ambition that makes me want to develop and own it. I do have the absolute white lotus when I watched that show, the
Mhm.
very first season of the very first episode, whatever. And in every season, this character is so prominent, the manager of the hotel. That is what I do.
Mhm.
I don't own that place. I don't need that. Am I this person?
Absolutely.
That's who I am at work. I'm that person.
Many parallels.
All I have to do is make sure that you enjoyed your stay while you're here. You are fucking crazy, and I don't know how I'm going to accomplish this thing. But within these four walls, that's all I have to do to accomplish it. As the owner, you're developing the experience from scratch. That's significantly harder and higher pressure. And I can't imagine that.
Yeah. Well, I think like it.
In the same way that you do events in a way that is such a levels above what I do in terms of concept execution. Like I don't, oh my gosh, our scales are so different that tracks, but that's where our parallels are.
Mhm.
We're in the same league.
Well, I'm like, let's create a life that we don't want to. Like, I want my regular life, my job, and everything to feel as much like a vacation as possible.
Great.
And so I was like, wow.
This is what Layla.
I need a resort friends. Then when I'm older, and also right now, I don't want to be cooking, cleaning,
Right.
doing maintenance. I don't care about having like a yard that I maintain. Maybe a small garden or something would be fun. Also, just doing flowers every so often kind of gets that. Like, that's all I need. I want someone else cleaning. I want to call down for stuff. Yeah, I want somebody like, I want it all contained.
Have you gone like, I remember growing up and wanting the mansion. Now I want the fucking 38th floor with a doorman downstairs who brings everything up.
I always did that.
I never
always wanted
now in my life.
And I think that I mean, I grew up in both houses and we had a like condo when I was in high school. And then my sister wound up, she was very artisty at the time. And so she lived in a loft.
Oh.
And so
how trendy that
downtown Austin, LA. Like right when that was like cool in the late 90s. So I was always like, no, we got to do this big city life. I wanted like the Flatiron apartment, Tribeca apartment where the elevator just opens right into
baby.
Yeah. And I loved anything where people lived in hotels.
Oh, yeah. I mean, now, yes. I mean, my level, tiers of wealth, I probably have talked about my tiers of wealth in every podcast episode so far. But like the asterisk that I have in the logo for this, to me,
that
like
asterisk is doing a lot of work.
Well, that is the point of an asterisk. An asterisk has the heaviest lift. And so I love it because it can mean literally anything. The asterisk can change everything that was just said. It breaks down everything that was just said. It has all the power of ingredients, everything about it. So for me, I like working backwards. I don't love to travel, and I don't love to travel because traveling luxuriously and beautifully is very expensive. Yeah. And I also I love my credit score and I live on cash. So you can't both don't go hand in hand with what I do for a living. And so I'm thinking of like my ultimate tier of wealth. I don't need Jeff Bezosian wealth.
Arguing. Okay.
But do I want a Paris Hilton Slimming Air style jet? Yeah, I do, with an asterisk embroidered on all the headrests. And I want my yacht's anchor to be the shape of an asterisk. And I'm like living in a way where I'm like, oh, I can totally see this. I can totally see this. My level of wealth then also has to ensure I can like live at the Carlisle. I love this apartment and I'll sublet it. I'll never get rid of it. They'll have to drag me out of here in a body bag. But when I come back into town on my private jet, I'm going to want to stay at the Carlisle because that to me is the highest of high because it's the hoteliest hotel. It's the ultimate luxury. It feels like so literally whatever I wanted, whether they do it or not, they have to do it if you stay there. It's hotel life for me. It isn't my own staircase and my own yard and my own like landscaping fees. None of those things. No.
I think like, I would definitely be the type where I am not worried about the small things.
What is you
want to take?
What granted, if we're talking about this kind of fuck you money, none of it matters. We'll have enough to do all of it. But what is your who do you employ to do the thing that is so obscure that you simply don't want to do that anymore?
Oh, well, I would have a stylist. I would not ever have to shop.
Oh,
I would have a chef.
Okay.
And I would have a driver.
Those three.
Also, I don't drive, so that is
so that's handy.
Yeah.
What's your car?
I
or truck.
I like an Aston Martin. I don't know how that works from the back.
You don't have to work. You have to worry. Well, you can customize it for this rich.
Okay. But I guess for being chauffeured, I don't know, do you do a Maybach or a Bentley or something? I'd have to think.
I mean, for me, a chauffeured vehicle, I think would probably be an SUV. Unlike the Lincoln.
I don't want them to move up and down all the time, though. Do we want to climb up and down?
Oh, sure. I think there's something.
Or something that could auto lower. Like I could even do a Sprinter that they lower it and I just
fine. I'd rather, like when you see like you're low and you're sitting and someone's helping you out of the car, I'd rather have someone help me down from the car.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's like a roll bar here where like, we can hold on to these things. But no, I think I'm a SUV truck girly.
Well, I was going to say a couple of jobs ago, the CEO of my company was very wealthy, a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
And one issue that he was explaining to us.
And we use the word issue again, relatively. Okay.
Yes. So I was thinking, so we were working on a deal with NetJets.
Mm-hmm.
And there were hilarious
NetJets.
There were hilarious conversations about NetJets. But this particular, like I didn't know that I toured one day, and I didn't know that of the toilet seats have like cushions on them.
Oh, like the 70s?
Like this is the toilet seat cover, and then you lift it up, but it's all padded. So if you sit down, it's
padded.
Yeah, and I didn't know.
I mean, the 70s.
Maybe,
yeah, covered in vinyl.
But it was leather.
Well, yes, of course, unless you're on a private jet.
Yeah, it was leather. But I remember mentioning it to one of my coworkers who travel all the time with the CEO, and he was like, "That's every jet." So that was bloop number one. Bloop number two.
Stupid.
Yeah. Bloop number two is the CEO had his own jet. Okay. So I was always like, we would get to Pebble Beach Pro-Am, for example, and I knew he was there because we see his jet. Was at the airport, right? Okay. So I was like, when I landed, I saw T's jet. Mm-hmm. They're here, whatever. So I was like, why does he have a membership for NetJets?
If he has his own.
Like, I don't get it. And so the CFO of the company was like, look, I'm not fucking flying to Hong Kong on the jet. The other seats, he can go sleep in his bed. The other seats don't lay flat. He's like, give me a first class ticket on Cathay Pacific or whatever. I'm not doing it. And I was like, oh shit, I never thought about that.
But that's why you have to go Paris Hilton's Living Air. You can put her down. She's not part of this show. She's not a paid actor. She makes zero money in this household. Okay. I
was like, there's a dog in my shirt.
No.
So that was hilarious. And then I was like, why the NetJets? And then it was like, well, think about it. If he has to have his mom and kids and so and so and so and so, he doesn't have enough seats on the jet.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
You don't have enough seats.
That's insane.
And you can't fly your mom commercial.
No. And I was like, that's where relative wealth comes in. I was like, NetJets is the downgrade from the private. And that's because my friend, Raina, hey, babe, we won't talk about what job she was in at the time, but she was working and there were large dogs involved. And the large dogs were ill-behaved. And the family flew private and also high net worth. And their version of private, they flew heavies. Heavies are like 737s, Air Force One style. They have living rooms and bedrooms and a kitchen. Like they're full houses. They're 2,000 square foot houses. And wherever they flew and whatever, I don't know if it was NetJets, but whoever they worked with to get the planes, these large ill-behaved dogs were not permitted on them. And so my friend would fly over on the Gulf Stream with the dogs, because she didn't fly commercial because commercial airlines wouldn't let the dogs on either. So the relativity of like the family is in a 5-bedroom heavy jet and she's slumming it over here with the big ill-behaved dogs that can't fly commercial. To like be the dog that's been downgraded from this to this version of like luxury travel, and you're the human who just has to accompany it. So I guess it's kind of an insane reality, honestly. I can't imagine. And so I don't in terms of ambition, it isn't to own or work harder. It's just to have the money that comes with it.
What can make life as relaxing as possible every day?
I mean, and I do think actually, again, your job and my job are different because you work for more of an outside facing situation. It's harder to check yours at the end of the day and leave it behind. I'm able to leave the building behind. I don't get emails like you get emails.
Yeah.
I don't have people working in different time zones, doing different things that start in the morning. And like, we are different in that way. And that for me of like, there's going to be a career cap for me in that case. And because
and I feel like it's more rare that you have to do late night stuff too.
Totally.
Well,
I'm more going to
if we're doing an event, it's like 10, 11, midnight, whatever.
Yeah. But that's also my preference. That comes with a cap on the thing. And in the same way that I just want to not do this anymore. I want to work really hard. Like my turnaround time for a task is borderline immediate. If you come to me with needing something, I'll handle it right away because I'd like to go back to doing nothing. That's my goal. Like at heart of all of it, of being an introvert, I think there is a lot of like, and I use this word carefully because I don't mean it detrimentally. There's like a little inherent laziness in an introvert where we kind of need to be smushy and idle and like restore and hibernate.
We need a sense of urgency.
Yes, to get us to perform.
Yeah. There's like nothing. I'm like, oh God, I don't want to do one thing. I'm either doing half of one thing.
Yeah.
I call it one work. So I text my friend like I did one works today. I'm going to do another work and then
100%. 100%.
I'm doing 2,000 things.
Well, I give myself a time limit. It isn't I need to do one thing. It's like, all right, I need to for fucking 25 minutes. Because at my flowest,
it's the
amount of time I can get done in 25 minutes is insane. Yeah. I can get more done in 25 minutes than most people fucking accomplish in a week.
Yep.
I can get more done in a day than people can accomplish in a month. Yep. People have seen my work play out. That's an occupational hazard. You can see what I produce every single fucking day. The goal is to get back to doing absolutely nothing. I am a lazy bitch. And I really just want to go sit down or put on a kimono or turn on below deck or sit down with my chicken club, something like that. My entire house is set up like a hotel suite because I want to feel like I have to do nothing.
It's the chicest boutique hotel in here.
It's what fits my future partner.
I love it.
I'm manifesting Carlisle.
But to circle back to since we're back on the topic of hotels and we were talking about imposter syndrome, and I was saying like all of the ways I forced myself out of my comfort zone. So when I kind of discovered, I'd say around COVID, I really was like, okay, I'm going to focus on travel, leaning into the experience because I was really in like fundraising and sales. And I was like, ultimately, like, what do I want to do on a day-to-day? Sales is very much you live or die by how well you did that day. Did you hit your number or not?
Yeah.
It is either great or horrible. Right?
Understood.
And I didn't like living like that.
Yeah.
I didn't like my success. It was just a very
it was a metric.
Up and down.
And your success is a metric. I
didn't like measuring in that way. So I like it better on the project-based. And like we literally just did 100 and whatever projects this year and they were all successful or not or whatever. But like that's the measure. And it's not like, did you close this one deal?
Yeah.
So I didn't like that. And also how in fundraising, you're very connected to particular clients.
Yes.
And it's like so much relationship management in ways that I don't thoroughly enjoy. So I knew I didn't love that and I needed to shift out of it. And so I was like, I'm going to start a travel agency.
Okay.
Homes and luxury travel. Mainly, I don't care about planning travel that much for anyone other than myself, my family. I was always that person anyway. But I was like, I want to go to the industry events and network and like see if like these are my people.
Yep.
And then I'll use that experience to parlay into a luxury hotel job. I'll work for Amman. I'll work for Four Seasons. Okay. That was my plan. And then I was like, well, okay.
Pandemic. So like 5 years ago. Okay,
yeah. And so I was like, well, I need to learn the different stuff. I need to learn like what about housekeeping? Like I need to know about that, right? Yeah. And I think this is a very women's perspective. I'm like, let me compound all the skills I'll need for that. Meanwhile, a man is just like, well, I'm tall, so I just be in charge.
I can just give me some money. You want to give me some money? I have a thing.
So I applied to like the NYU hospitality, like professional studies. I was doing online classes. I was going to conferences. And I was like, okay, hotels make money on events.
Yeah.
So I need to learn events. And the universe said, bitch, hold on to your hat.
Yep.
When our current company found me, and they were like, oh, you could totally, you've done sponsorships, you've done this kind of stuff.
Let us show you some events.
I had done a conference freelance for this professional women's organization I was working with. It was for stitchfix.com. I planned a conference for them.
The buttons, the clothes.
Yeah. And just on my own, and like, I didn't know I could do that, but the other woman in my group was like, hey, do it. Let's do it for us.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. And so I flew out there and I toured hotels and they wined and dined me. They had chefs coming out to the table and bringing. I was like,
you're like,
okay, I'm in the right direction.
Yeah.
I am headed in the right
even
direction.
now,
That's what I knew. I was like, this is where I'm meant to be.
I do think that I always say that 98% of my paycheck is patience and a good attitude. The other 2% is expenses.
That is definitely my least.
And with expenses are things like that's why I say you and I are on the same highway but two different lanes. We both go to site visits, and our job is to go have relationships with vendors, and our job is to know where to go, and our job is to know who can get it for us. And that takes a lot of, I'm going to go sit by myself at this bar and get to know this manager, or I'm going to go swing by this hotel on my way picking up my thing for later tonight. We love a site visit. We love a flower arranging class. We love a mixology. Like,
I just always want to learn
the recipe of the thing.
Yeah.
And that's necessary.
And I'm just like, what other skills can I just want to have all the skills so that I have freedom. Because I figure, corporate world, maybe I got 10 years freedom. Maybe I got 15 years left before I out, if that, and then what am I going to do? Well, now I have all these other lanes I can go back.
But I think, honestly, if you were to put every single person in our office, line them up in a game of Red Rover, and the question is, you have to start a civilization from scratch tomorrow.
I'd be like, I'm out.
Yes. It's too late. Someone will pick you first. Someone picks you, picks me. Because throwing a party and ordering food and arranging flowers is the hardest thing people are faced with in a lifetime. That's why they can't deal with their wedding. That's why they can't deal with their kid's party. That's why people get too rough.
Yeah.
Those are things that are in our sleep. We can do that part. The hardest part of what we do is coming across capable so people let us do that part. You have to let me throw this party on my own. It's I'll take it from here. Once they come to Layla, it's like Layla will take it from here. I'll throw this the more sales involvement is like.
I think that might be the biggest difference between our roles and how we're set up. Because my bosses are remote.
Yeah.
So, and I was brought in to take over markets that were untouched and unmanaged that they were trying to so they're happy to just that it's being, I don't have that level of anyone sort of, I'm just not with everyone in the same place.
And
it's different.
Honestly, the only orchestrators in my work are like the people who are at the office every single day. They determine what I do. I'm not picking this or this because I like it.
Right.
I literally hate decorations. I hate celebrating holidays, and I don't eat until dinner. So none of these things apply to me. That said, because people tell me what they like and what they don't like and how they feel about this and that all day long, it's my job to then produce that information.
Right.
Filter it and produce it. And I think that you and I have.
Well, I think so. So like you do the events, but that is more of an aside to your regular, which is providing kind of like this full service office hospitality experience.
That is like office guidance counselor.
Right. Personal assistant. And not that that's your role, but that's what people are asking you. Mom questions, big sister questions, nurse questions, sometimes
dead mouse. We found a dead mouse.
Sometimes I'm like, do you guys have a
Questions.
mom that you can ask? Wait, now they're fighting over who can be on me.
They are.
It's
They are. Of course.
adorable.
You're on me. Yes. This is the most special. Look at this.
I've been chosen.
You have been chosen. And being chosen by, and Sloan is very upset about this situation. And
I'm like, is there like pause going back to back on you right?
I will thankfully cut Dom's nails the other day. And now she's going to really go after her for even considering.
But so back to imposter syndrome hotel. Like,
Yes,
just
go.
like finish the.
No, sorry. That's me. I'm that person. I talk over everyone.
No worries. So, part of me like trying to upskill myself and network and meet people in the industry to find like, do I fit in? Or like, so I was like, well, I found this like African American Black Owners of Hotels Association.
Okay.
It is owned by a major brand,
Okay.
a major hotel brand, Wyndham.
Okay.
And they're like doing this whole thing where they give like certain like financial assistance, finance assistance,
grants.
Yeah, exactly. The person who owns it is a best friend of my cousin. That
By coincidence?
Yep. And I was just on the list and saw like when he took over the role and stuff like that. But I didn't even have to. I was prepared to tap into a resource if I needed to. But so they were having a conference in Miami. I knew nothing about it. Didn't know what kind of hotels, nothing. But I was like, I want to go see again. Are these my people?
Yeah.
Can I get a vibe?
I want to do this all day.
Or am I going to seem like some little sweet baby and couldn't be in this industry or something like that? So I emailed him and it was like, hey, it's $900 to sign up. I just want to come to the first day.
Okay.
Is there a way to like pay for that or like, what's
for our conference?
And he was like, well, you could just do this and half of the day for this amount. And I was like, could I just come for free? He was like, sure. See you there. My mom was like, I love when you wheel and deal.
So it is so impressive.
So me and my husband flew down to Miami. And I went to like the first day conference. I had some like meetings for my day job. I was like, could easily, I fit right in.
Yeah.
People were normal. And they're talking about like days in and econo lodges and do you want to do a big resort? And we did this whole presentation on the ROI of the different types of properties. Fascinating, but like I could do it. That was what I got from that. I just need $10 million.
100%. And I do think
that I just need financing. That's what I learned.
But I think that's with anything.
I had to go see though.
I think that the myth is dispelled. Like if you've ever been on a film or a commercial or a TV set, you think shit is so fancy all of the time and everything, blah, blah, blah. That shit is held together with glue knots and someone's nephew working for free. Yeah. And this is not rocket science for anyone. It is just its capability.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of, can you hold this together? Can you get us out the door? Can you make it look like we spent tens of thousands of dollars on something?
And I think even just consistency.
Yes.
Agree with like my mom and I have this conversation a lot. Just talking about like, sometimes she has very high expectations, especially for women. And sometimes I'm like, Mom, there's nothing based on this person that you're talking about that should make you think that they're going to be able to consistently keep performing this.
Yes.
This is not.
Agreed.
Like, we're not necessarily the normal ones that were able to do million things, Like, how many doctors went to school? Like, my mom was in labor finishing medical school. I was in labor doing my trigonometry and they were saying, you got to push and I have to finish my trig.
Well, my mother didn't do that. My mom did always say, the more you keep doing it, the more they'll expect you can do it. Right. And I do think that is a part of my problem. Consistency is unbelievably important to me, whether it's how I deliver my words, whether it's how I show up, how I dress, my house is tidy, how I go to work. Consistency is all we have. If everyone in therapy knows that an inconsistent anything is like a recipe for disaster. Performing at a level where, again, people can see what we do. Everything that's in our job ends up on a tabletop or in a serving tray or on a plate or in a vase or in a report at the end. with so many eyes on it, who have so much say with zero, why are you have purview into what I do? Because for any other job in any other position, these people would never have a say in what the fuck I do for a living. But in our jobs, we are similar in that way. Your reputation is someone in a room being like, no, Layla, stop this. And everyone else being like, oh yeah, that's right, she does. That's what I'm saying. You would run if someone were like, who's going to create our society? It's you, me, and Brian Herbert. Those are the people that pick it. And they're like, there's a level to it that's just like this person. We couldn't tell you what they do well because we've never seen them do anything poorly. And that level of consistency, that's why you love learning how to bartend, learning how to do flowers. I get that from you now. In my job, you're just like, what's our education credit going to cover this for? And it's like,
I love
you love the education credit. And I'm less curious. I'm like definitely on record as significant less learned. Because as I learned growing up, the more you know, the more you're responsible for.
I make it a
and I know
my team
working with Layla
books.
We are. I'm getting flower trimming gloves. I'm getting flower cutters. I'm signed up to go like to a mixology. I'm absolutely.
Do you know when I started?
You're the person who does it.
I could not do flowers. The first time I tried doing flowers, I got feedback from my managers. It was not acceptable. It was not professional.
That's
So
what
I'm
it
just
is.
like, okay, I'm overcoming this.
I also
And
and I absolutely love it. And I do think that everyone we work with, when they walk through a room that you and I have set up flowers in, they're like, "Who did the flowers?" The pride of me, I have this one skill.
Like, oh, I just did a little something.
Yeah,
but it did not come naturally to me at all.
No, but I don't think stuff like that does. And I think your willingness to lean into the want to learn in the same way that you said no to this and then said yes right away. You're
it makes me uncomfortable, so I have to push.
Yes. And if it makes me uncomfortable, I'll develop a strategy where I'm doing it either my way, which is comfortable. I've delegated to someone else to do it, or I have found a way that we do not need to do this at all. Generally, it's the third. Because
again, this wasn't something I didn't want to do because, like, I just don't feel like it. Something I don't want to do just for.
No, trust me. Honestly, I have had everyone from like those who cancel with cold feet, those who canceled the morning of. I have someone who has told me they prefer their name not be mentioned at all. You can go fuck yourself, by the way. I should have mentioned your name in that sentence to really drive that home. But there are so many where it's so hard to get people. I could tell right away you weren't saying no out of a self-consciousness, really, even a lack of confidence. It was less that you're not inclined to feel like you're good at this. That's kind of all. And then you just changed your mind before I kind of read into it.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Well, because
And I keep asking you if you're good with it. And you keep saying every day you ask,
yeah,
you're in, and then you're in. And I'm like, but
because I am not a flaky person. If I say yes, I would have shown up here with walking pneumonia and a body cast.
I mean, we're like I mentioned at the beginning, we're in the trifecta of New York City High Nation.
Yeah,
it's a Sunday and a holiday weekend. It is 37 degrees outside, and it has just started to rain before we get a big storm on Tuesday.
And this requires
I was going to say 2 boroughs away.
Yeah, 9 miles. Like
yes, it came over a bridge, over a borough, and into the farthest of the boroughs.
And I made it so I was strategically late enough that I had to take a car the whole way.
Yes,
I was like, oh, I just always managed to do that. Like, damn, I can't take the subway. It's delayed.
And I'm also violating my trifecta. We're like tit for tat on this one because after this, we go back into the city, over a borough and through a borough, over a bridge into Midtown.
Yes,
where I have to celebrate my best friend's birthday.
You know, I'm on the Upper East, so you coming there wasn't that close. It wasn't like, it was like 2 blocks from my apartment.
No, and actually,
at my apartment would have been crazy. My husband would have either been asleep or on PS6, and he's in disputes playing some new.
I was going to say, what's the game?
I don't even know what it's called, but they're intense about it.
Okay.
And they're stringing.
Is he headphones?
Yep.
Okay.
So that would have been chaos.
Against what, 9-year-olds?
No, British. And
okay. Is it football?
It's some scavenger hunt game. I don't know. Mad scavenger. It looks cool when I have my glasses.
Team game?
Mm-mm.
No. Do you handle or anything?
I don't. I did used to play Sims. I did have
Sims is like rag.
I
That's
had a
something.
Nintendo. I had a Sega Saturn when I was growing up. Yeah. So I did. I used to play all that. I used to play like Street Fighter, but I played with my brothers. But my brothers would take the lead, and I'd like be like the sidekick.
Were you like a Tetris girly at all?
Yeah, I'll play Tetris. I'll pick up the Tetris. But I don't have the. And I used to love Sims. I used to play Ages of Empire. I don't know if you remember that game, computer game. But like, I didn't have the patience to be really good at it, and to like things that I'm not really good at.
I'm Tetris exclusively. Tetris is how my brain works at all times, is the efficient fit.
Okay.
I'd be like, had I known it were something I could actively pursue, I would have probably done like grocery bagging competition. Like packing. I'm obsessed with packing. If I can like make all the boxes fit as I recycle them, the euphoria of the Amazon the Sam situation where you like get all your cart, like you fit all your groceries into like the manufacturer. Yeah, here for all of that.
I feel like, how do you combat so what I'm up against now is with work, all of the planning and organizing, and I laugh because prior to us at this job, I was like, oh, I just want to learn how to plan events better so that I can like use that as a skill later. That could be something I could do freelance as I get older, as I age out of corporate, whatever. And start my own, I have my own business. I can expand on that. I really don't want to plan weddings, but I will if I have to.
Least favorite demographic.
Yeah.
It's a bride.
And I get offers pretty regularly. You'd be surprised. And I tell people I'm up to like saying it has to be a minimum of $250K.
Well, so I
will not do it.
I won't side hustle with a client. That's where you and I differ. Is my path is my chosen path because I don't want a client. Because my greatest, maybe it's the middle child, only girl in me, is I'm extremely precious about my thought process and my ownership of a thing. And I will assume if you have come to, I don't do anything for anyone any day of the week that they can't all do for themselves. I don't. I may do it better, prettier, faster, easier, so that you don't have to, but you can all do what I do for every single person. That said, when you come to me then and ask me to help you do something or do something for you, I'll assume you've exhausted every single option until now, which means I get to do it my way. You don't get to come and collaborate with me now. Once you've come to me and said, can you help me wrap a gift?
Gotcha.
We're no longer collaborating.
Yeah, no.
I'm wrapping the gift.
No, the clients I have now give me full reign. I have their card number. They tell me what they want. I book it. I'm not doing back and forth.
No. So that's what I get.
Like, no, to get you the best rate. No.
Absolutely not. You are no longer questioning what I've decided to cars. No. Everything about it is 100%
but I would say it's not that, for me anyway, it is not that they have exhausted all avenues. I am the first and last stop.
But that's the thing.
They haven't exhausted all avenues, but I'm not. And
I'm not taking any questions. You've relinquished control. You've ceded your position.
Control for sure.
We're done.
Yeah.
And so I don't do well with a client, a bride, a homeowner. I won't charge
mother of the
bride. So my parents used to own a wedding venue. And
I think you did tell me this.
In Maine, farmhouse kind of situation. And we always, I don't know if my mother would say this, but I always used to say a bride is my least favorite demographic until the day of the wedding. And then it's the mother of the bride. Mm-hmm. And the bride is basically an honor,
like the best friend.
The best friend who didn't get picked as the maid of the honor is actually the worst demographic. As everybody, because today's her day to be like,
the maid of honor.
You should have picked me. Anyway, that is my least favorite. It's the same when you go into someone's home and they're like, what would you do with this window? And you're like, you tell them. And then they're like, well, and I was like, what the fuck did you bring me here for? If all of a sudden you got a million ideas.
This happened to me when I was 13 years old, and I think about it regularly. I had a principal that I was my mom and her were really good friends.
So middle school.
Yeah, I feel like
13's what, 7th grade?
This was like 7th, 8th, but like I was super close to her family, more than just my school principal. We were like family friends. And she was kind of an adult that like, I could like hang out with, which I was the kind of kid that I was, I was the youngest, all older siblings.
We both we talked about this.
Yeah, I was very much that kid. I was just like was always seemed older
35
years.
Yeah.
And so I remember one day she had a house in Altadena. R.I.P. Altadena. It was really
May it rebuild. May it rebuild.
I know, may it rebuild. And I remember one day she said, "So what would you do?" We're just hanging out in her living room, waiting on my mom. I was always waiting on my mom to come pick me up. And she was like, "What would you do in here?" And I was like, "Oh, I would take out these windows and I would open this up." And I remember I was so enthusiastic and I looked over and her face was like crestfallen. And she was like, she must have been like, she seemed a billion years old to me at the time, but she must have been like
younger than we are right now.
Yeah, possibly. And I remember she was so crestfallen that I said, like, I take out these windows and I do this and do that. And it was like, but I did not like her house. And I was like, oh, God, she's so offended.
Yeah. And
I was so mad. Like, well, why did you ask me?
I know, but I think that is, I mean, I think that is kind of you and I, and our point of view in general is we're not here. This party I'm throwing isn't a personal party for me. I have zero.
I do not do personal parties for myself.
No, you and I don't. I don't have food in my fridge. My entire job is food and bev. I have no food, just one bev in my fridge.
But that's what I was going to say is how do you still come home or still in your personal life want to do other stuff? Because I was the person that would be like organizing my drawers and I still am, but I don't. Work takes so much of it.
So I think the difference is I could say something like I'm not a very organized person. I'm a very neat person. When you're an organized person, you can't turn that off.
Mm-hmm.
I am neat because I love things to look beautiful, because I love design and I love aesthetics. It goes all the way down to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I can turn off because at the end of the day at work, my job is to make your experience exclusively beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
My job is to make you come back tomorrow. My job is to make you want to be here, make you want to enjoy the snacks, make you open every single drawer inside the bathroom, and just to see is this a pimple patch? Is this a gas X? Is this an entire drawer for Pepto-Bismol? There's rubber bands. There's license. We have spoolies. That is I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, if all that went away tomorrow, you couldn't say I don't provide for you.
Right.
I just love making what I do provide really pretty. And I think that in general, an eye for design.
I feel like you're a curator.
Yes, I love composition. I love composing. I'm a composer through and through and through and through. Mine just happens to be visual elements.
Mm-hmm.
This house is composition.
Mm-hmm.
My outfit is composition. The way my desk is curated is composition. There's not this color here on this side that isn't also over here for balance of what's behind my desk.
Did you ever think about going into like design, like home design? But again, you have to have a client, right? Yeah.
And so my whole house is that. In my pro bono lifestyle, my text messages.
Like you've done that with so many of the offices.
Totally. And my text messages are full of, I had a friend text me out of the blue. I hadn't heard from her in so long. And she texted me out of the blue and said, "I know this is random. You're the only person I could think to ask. I need to pick between two wedding dresses and everyone is telling me they both look great. I know you'll tell me the truth."
Mm-hmm.
And she sent me 2 pictures and I was like, fucking number 2. Like, without hesitation, number fucking 2, everyone telling you one is lying to your face. You look so bomb, the number 2, done, 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 done. And she's like, "Thank you so much. I don't care if she wants to look beautiful in this dress. I don't care what her family thinks. I don't care what the dress is made out of. Just on the data I'm looking at, you look fire in this dress. Go with that." I love looking at beautiful things. And so for my work, in order to be able to tolerate removing the dead mouse, having someone
which I would not be able to do, by the way.
I don't have the luxury of saying no. I don't have the luxury of a bad mood. I don't have the luxury of saying that isn't my job. My job is to be graceful in the face of bias. My job is to be graceful in the face of unbelievable, literal emotional stress. I don't have the luxury of any of those things. And it's so, so, so taxing and exhausting emotionally, the way through that for me is to make it pretty. And so my center truly is in a version of beauty. And I read something the other day in someone's Instagram that a good artist is able to see the beauty in things. An artist is able to see the beauty in things. A good artist is to be able to paint that beauty and have it received by others, even if blah, blah, blah. But a great artist is to be able to see through the trials and the darkness and the non-beauty and create beauty out of it. And I think choosing to go day to day through the workforce in an office where it's chaos and impatience and incapability and politics and weather and everybody else working from home and fill in the blank. My job is to find the beauty in that in a way that's like, I want to get up and go back tomorrow. Forget what I'm carrying for that inside. I want to be able to get back and go do it tomorrow. So how do I make this someplace I love? How do I make this? And it's not the place, it's the job.
Yeah.
I love doing this job because I love how people feel when they receive my job. You probably get the same thing. When people walk into a room or people give you a review or they tell you the clients loved it, they couldn't do that. They literally couldn't do it at all, let alone without you. That's the validation where you're like, this is why we do it.
I would say two things. The first is I have such a not newfound, but more recently in my career found respect for that appreciation. Because I have done jobs, for example, when I worked at Sotheby's and I worked in shipping for a few years before transitioning onto other roles. But I remember it would be like we go so hard to make all the holiday deadlines and all these things. And you only would even hear about anything if it went wrong, right? And, or got exhibitions going all over the place, all over the world and all these different things. And it didn't matter. It was only if something went wrong. And then you had to,
what's the wrong? And what went wrong is sometimes so silly
and completely out of our control.
Totally. Nobody showed up. Yeah. What would you like me to do about that?
The fact that I get to be there and physically make stuff and hang stuff and put stuff and place stuff and sign people in, I have control over how it goes. I remember not having that and working till 11 at night on Saturday, on Sunday, and having no, just hearing shipping sucks, for years. And so I really appreciate getting that positive feedback. But one good example I have recently was I went to an event that we did in LA.
Yeah.
And as soon as one client walked in with her plus one, she was like, oh my God, I'm so happy. She was like, I'm so happy.
That's it.
And we were giving out lays, and I put a lay on her. And I was like, this matches your outfit. She's like, it matches perfectly. She's like, oh my God. And she turned to her partner and she's like, I am so happy right now. And she ran in to go ransack whatever there was to ransack, right? And I turned to my colleagues and I was like, this is what I do. I will ride off of that one.
It's 100%.
That moment will carry me through.
You have to.
So much.
You have to. I mean,
just the joy. Just create joy.
It is because parties are beautiful, especially in the corporate world where parties are actually pretty bad. To be
we don't know her. We don't know her.
No, I don't go to that school. And to be able to have a part of my reputation be that I make what I do look effortless. That's a huge compliment. Most of my compliments are never said to my face and they're not actual compliments, but that's where the validation comes in. People don't really, this makes me so happy. That has little to say about anything specific other than you did it. You nailed it.
You nailed it.
And when I stand on the side of the room, when everyone's at potluck and our boss is standing on top of the table, which is 2 hours ago when I said, and then he's going to get on top of the table and do his speech. And they're like, what? And I was like, trust me, seeing him get on top of the table and give his speech means that I did my job. Because he wouldn't have done that if he weren't on a get on top of the table kind of mood.
Yeah.
That's a curated mood. That's a vibe I had to create. I can't have people coming in and looking at my $325 worth of Amazon decorations and asking me if they could steal them and take them home. That's validation.
I'm having another party. Can I take this?
All of it. And I love having people who have parents who go to school or as kids who go to school and they talk to me about what I pull at our office, being like, if my kid's private school ever saw something like this at a fundraiser, and I'm like, you're welcome. And I make 1/3 of what every one of those people who pull your fundraisers, like, it is so validating to hear almost the passive compliments be really the strongest compliment you have, is to look back at the room and seeing everyone have fun. I did my job. If everyone is mingling and no one is coming up to me needing something, I did it. That's it. We did it all. If we ran out of everything, we did it all. If I have people wanting to steal flower arrangements, we did it all. If you want to steal a tiny the masseuse, the masseuse, we had Wellness Wednesday on the same day that we had potluck, and the masseuse walked. We have a masseuse on Wellness Wednesday because, again, it's all about the experience. And Lorraine walks to the room and she goes, I love your woodland creatures. And I was like, the fact that you called them woodland creatures is enough for me.
Yeah.
Like, nailed it, because that's what they're called.
You nailed
And
it.
so there's so many things.
I love the nailed it moment.
Yes. And they're very subtle and they're really nuanced. And they're usually in the face of removing the mouse and everyone's filming it, calling you their hero. Moving a mouse isn't like, oh,
You in this mouse.
I'm sorry. It was very traumatic. It was very traumatic for me. I didn't want to see one. Well, they wanted to. It was a panicked moment. But it was the same as like the girl who came up to me to tell me that there was a dead roach in the boys' bathroom.
I don't care about roaches.
Like, all of that is just like, okay, I guess I'll go handle it. That's validating. You don't come to mom for help unless you are out of options. The last motherfucking thing you want to do is call mom up out of the wings. Like, you just don't want to do that.
Yeah.
When my dog comes and sits right next to me, something's gone down.
Yeah.
Either you've got a chew stuck in your teeth or the cat is mad, but you have come to me for relief. That's validating in a way that you and I provide that.
Yes. Well, I would say you are definitely unlike anyone I've ever met. You do remind me of my cousin who is from Maine as well.
Ooh, interesting.
But I thought that especially when I first met you, but now less so because I know you like better. But yeah, you're definitely like a Maine white lady.
It's okay. I'm gonna say it, girl. I'm here to be suburban white beauty.
But it's such a like comforting, cozy type of person. Your energy is definitely something I've never seen. Like the way that you, like wherever we work, if we were to just, we could move companies, industries, offices, anything. But if you were there, you would be the atmosphere. You would be the environment. You would be the energy that we all run on, to be honest. And especially during the pandemic, I mean, it would be like you, me, and Dupree in there, right?
Like literally.
And I loved it.
Honestly, this was like the Wednesday before the break. It was just you and me and our dogs.
What is this happening that we're in?
Yeah.
I loved it because it was the perfect combination of being out of the house finally, which I desperately needed, but not too much. Like,
and
it's still like
when I started. Right.
When I started a month after you.
Yeah. Because when I started, there was another woman there. And I remember we share a magical secret closet. Every job I've ever had, there's always been, there's always been Kate's closet. And you open the door to Kate's closet and anything you could possibly want to ask
I
for.
was obsessed.
It's in here.
I was obsessed.
And you entered in and I said,
we're going to just stand this.
We really did. We called in my friend Sarah. Sarah did organization. We got ourselves a storage unit over the past, like we've now 3.5 years.
So much into not like maybe the year before last, but it was like you guys like took it on. You were like, we're going to make this so efficient.
Yeah.
Better. It's a work in progress. For sure.
It is because I think it's not just a work in progress.
But mainly on my side, because we just get so much stuff, like managing all the stuff. So we're just still trying to find.
But also, as you, like, as
I want to be on top of it. I hate not being in control.
But can you imagine, like, moms with 3 and 4 kids, or even less than that? I don't know that.
Yes.
I like don't have any.
Yeah,
like,
no. My mom with 4 kids was high mass.
Always getting shit in. You got to get rid of shit going out. You have to decide what is worth keeping, what is worth getting rid of. Is it worth it to just buy it again or pay the
devices? Use the counts that we update on our spreadsheets to tell like what to allocate to different conferences. So it's important that we stay up to date, but like no one has time to immediately open 20 boxes and count 400 items.
Not
you know,
like that.
by hand. I'm like, guys,
You have a million people coming in and just being like, so I need to go grab something.
I need this, yes, or I did take this already.
But I do think that is just this conversation, which no one at home is understanding right now.
No.
It doesn't matter because it's the perfect illustration of everybody else gets to go to work, deal with their inbox, deal with the meetings on the calendar, produce for those meetings on the calendar, game change, problem solve, and troubleshoot based on those meetings on the calendar, and then deliver it again next week when you have that meeting again. You and I operate in a world of every fucking minute of the day is someone coming at you with something that you have to track. And that what you're tracking then affects the next person who comes to you. There isn't a moment of my day that isn't allocated to a task that isn't robbing from the next task or the next product in the same way for you.
Say the golf shirts, my anxiety about the golf shirts.
And the golf shirts came down to, you guys, this is so stupid. We were looking for a Tupperware full of golf shirts. And that's not a euphemism. A Tupperware full of golf shirts was quite actually
but like $1,000 of golf shirts.
Samples. And we couldn't find them anywhere. We're at our wits' end. We're trying to figure out who we emailed, who we met.
I even ordered samples because I was just waiting to
he was meant to losing golf shirts because there's so many things coming in and out of and moving on and off the shelves. Like imagine the Costco with the forklift and the things are coming down and then moving around and then moving to the front of the store and then now going on to the end of the aisle.
You definitely run like a full inventory store with how much.
All of it. And everyone going behind your back being like, I don't know if anyone told you, but we're out of such and such. How long have we been out of that? Because no one told me. Well, why don't you know? Because if no one told me. That's all. I mean, that's good. Now we get.
Oh, I was gonna tell you, I did have a nightmare about this dream, and I'm a dream person. I don't know if you are, but I'm
a stoner, so I don't get much.
I'm a dream person. Vivid dreams. I stopped telling people about it because I saw like some post that was like nobody wants to hear.
Girl, let's talk. We have a whole audience. Let's go.
But I had a dream. So we were stuck in customs, coming back from undisclosed foreign country. And they kept changing the rules of what we needed to do to get out of customs. In the meantime, we needed to record the podcast.
Okay.
So we're like in line / in this holding area / something else. And I'm like trying to text people to get us out, but like my phone's not working and all this stuff. And then I was just like, Kate, I'm just not going to be interesting. I'm just not going to have anything interesting to say. Your whole podcast is us just freaking out about being stuck in customs right now. And like, that is not going to be interesting content. And I woke up like,
but can you imagine? Actually, I think as you're saying this almost feels like a really good plot. Can you imagine us literally just being mic'd up? This is as portable as you get. Us being mic'd up. Because you have Dom too. So we have competition. I know. The competition. So big Dom. Dom, you have 3 seconds before she figures out where you went. If we were standing in line at customs, mic'd up, just being like, the fuck is this bullshit? That, like, honestly, I think that would be all the time. Yes, I think about it all the time. Like, I listened to a podcast on my power walk yesterday. I'm an 80s baby. We power walk. It's something we know how to do. And I'm listening, the episode has a professional, like, therapist as the guest on. But we're 27 minutes into the podcast and they're still just shooting the shit between the two of them. And they haven't even technically introduced the episode yet. And I'm just like listening. I'm just like, I just listen.
I know. I do too, but I skip through the preamble sometimes because I'm like, I don't want to hear that shit.
I don't always. And I think about, like I've said this so many times, I listen to my Calm app to fall asleep at night. If you're turning this on to fall asleep at night, numbers are numbers. I don't care what you fall asleep to. Feel free to turn this on. But I just think that conversation in general, the reason people love to eavesdrop is because they're waiting for the tea. Whether or not the tea comes, doesn't mean stop listening. Like we are, I mean, this is just great conversation that is relatable because people have a job.
Well, but you didn't answer the question.
Oh, fuck. What was the question?
Do rules apply or not?
Girl, I do think they all apply because the rule, like I would say at the end of this day, the rule is I do not have the luxury of being upset about what the day-to-day is. You don't either. We don't have the luxury of being butthurt about it. We don't have the luxury of being impatient. Our job is to figure it out and move on. We have
But
too much to
luckily, as
do.
80s babies, we never even thought that was an option.
It wasn't an option.
Yeah. So
And
that's
especially
something
as
I was looking for.
we both have professional moms. My mom was a teacher. My mom worked.
I knew I
Your
didn't
mom
want to do
worked.
that.
I didn't want to do that.
Right. So that's why we don't have kids.
No, I sold mine. I sold every baby available to my body. And my mom was a teacher and third graders.
Yeah.
I now am an office manager for 9-year-olds. I don't care who the motherfuckers are. They are all 9. Me and my housekeeping staff get through every day by looking at each other with a little wink and a nod, being like, we're all older than them. Don't forget, we're smarter. They're all 9. Because that's the only way to get through. The rule is my job is to care about how you feel today. You can't fake your way through that.
Mm-mm.
If I am upset about the fact that someone spoke to me in a tone, or that someone disrespected my personal space, or that someone disrespected my job or me, or that I'm fucking exhausted because I'm here 5 days a week and you fuckers aren't, so fuck you. None of that matters. None of that matters because my job is to truly and authentically want to be here. So the other half of my job is to figure out how to keep that. How do I keep my good attitude? How do I not feel like I'm being downtrodden? How do I not feel like my light is being dimmed? How do I really genuinely issue my grace in a situation where I want to punch you in the fucking throat? How do I authentically do all that? That's the job. That's the job.
I find that when I get those moments, which is not few and far between, but less so than other jobs for sure.
True.
We're on an upward trajectory for sure. Is I remember what the experience of my mom, my sister, even who's Gen X, my aunt, and my ancestors. And I think that, oh my gosh, if they could see the life that I live now, that I have the ability.
And I am making my dog custom dogs calf liver and seasoning every evening.
It's a custom shampoo with its own custom shower head.
Yeah.
And that I get to kind of choose my schedule even, that I get to experience all these amazing things. And I'm fine with living the life of a normie.
Yeah.
I get to do luxury things every once in a while.
I
I'm
agree.
perfectly happy with that.
But
as far as the world goes, I mean, it's like we're living in the best time to be women, the best time to be women of color, the best time to be all of these things just here in this place.
Well,
not it all over the world.
No, but I think even more granular here in this place, in this city. You can't walk out your front door and not be completely humbled by someone else's hardship.
Yeah.
If you are going through a day in this city mad about it, you can go fuck yourself because everybody else, if you're listening to this on your iPhone with your AirPods, going to and fro your job with your 401k and your Obamacare benefits still, then you can shut the fuck up because every single time you leave your house, you're confronted by tens of thousands of people who have it so much harder than you. And their day starts at 4 a.m., so you're missing the other tens of thousands of people. It is so hard every day for everyone else here. It's relatively tedious for me. I'm tired and shit. And my hardest decision, and I mean this very genuinely, my hardest decision most days is what am I getting for dinner? Everything.
Oh, that's a hard decision.
That's very difficult.
And it's, what do they call it? Self-control breakdown or something at the end of the day. So by the time you finish your day, it's hard.
Unregulated.
Yeah,
yes, I'm unregulated. But
that's a hard meal.
And it is. And when the rest of your day,
I'm always like French fries.
I know. Well, and I'm always like turkey club, chicken fingers. But that's my day too. Leading into that decision, which is hard for me, is because during the day, everyone who gets their Grubhub stipend, I take their Grubhub lunch deliveries and run them up the stairs into their desk, and down the stairs into those 125 times a day. I'm delivering someone's Thai food, Indian
I feel
salad,
special when I get mine delivered to my house.
Sushi. I love it. And I'm just like, ooh, what do I want? What do I want? What do I want? Come to the day has passed. I've gotten it all done. I'm on the train. I'm numb. I thought I picked out a song and I was going to love this playlist. I had to turn it off immediately. I've gotten to the point where I cannot listen to music on the way
listen to music either.
I'm too
overstimulated.
Raw. Yeah. I'm completely raw And by the time I have to make the what's for dinner choice, I'm not
chef. I don't want to decide.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
For dinner.
Don't make leftovers.
No, I don't have a microwave. I don't have a microwave because when you live in New York City, you don't have things like microwaves. I know.
I try to lean on gratitude, and I try to remember how much people have fought for what we have and how amazed they would be. And
truly
excited. I was thinking about my very glamorous grandmother. I think about my mom and how even, she is 82.
Mm-hmm.
She went to the convent so that she could go to nursing school.
Mm-hmm.
And when she was graduating, the other white nurses said that if they allowed her to join them, they were all going to quit. So she left.
Mm-hmm.
They made her leave in the middle of the night. She couldn't say goodbye to anyone after 10 years there.
Mm.
And she joined the Black Panthers.
Yes.
Got married. Did a bunch of different stuff in the meantime. And then was like, I'm going to medical school with 3 babies. And she did. And so after all of that,
you're going to be mad about it?
It's not going to be mad about everything.
No.
I can feel all the feelings, and there are hard days and there are up and down.
But it's not
that's
plan. You do. You don't not. I don't not feel the same.
No, it's like we're allowed to, too.
But
that's all fine, too.
Lean into that.
Yeah.
And I think about all the time my grandfather.
At the end of the day.
I'll wrap with this final thought. My grandfather was a businessman.
Mm-hmm.
Drove a Lincoln Town car, worked for DuPont,
mm-hmm.
then into environmental sanitation, which okay. In Philadelphia.
Yeah.
He every single year sent me and my cousin Allie a Valentine's Day card.
Mm-hmm.
Every single year sent his secretary or got his secretary, all of the secretaries in the pool, a card and flowers. I remember going to Gennardi. Gennardi is a grocery store in Philadelphia. I remember going to Gennardi after going to we called him grandfather. Any indication of what Dom Spinozzi, my cat's named after him. Any indication of what Dom Spinozzi was like, we called him grandfather. 6'4".
Yeah, Greek name?
Italian.
Yeah.
Dominic Joseph Spinozzi. He was 6'4", imposing, wore a 3-piece suit, drove a Lincoln Town car, had the kind of madman secretary who sat outside
and he
the oak desk. Absolutely green marketing. Absolutely. He got his shirts folded on a piece of cardboard, which we would draw on. Everything about grandfather was so professional. And he, among all the things that I love and remember about him, he loved and respected secretaries. He was very aware they were the reason he was getting his day done. Mm-hmm. When I run my office, I will say run and I will say mine.
As you said. Yeah.
It is. When I run my office, I run it knowing that the dinosaurs, like my grandfather, were he still there,
he wouldn't
know what hit him, because this is the place people come to work and really value their workplace and value their authority. And I feel like I have authority there.
You do.
And it's my job to make sure you want to show up. That includes you. I want to make sure you want to still throw events with me.
Oh my gosh, I did.
The events are so tedious. I need to make sure.
No, I do.
And I'm thankful for you.
Ever. I'm so thankful for you.
You glad you did it?
Yep. I kind of forgot we were doing it.
Right? I think that's amazing.
Yeah, amazing. Now, somebody says also,
cut to me and Layla in the top 2 podcasts in America. Layla Townsend and